Morning guys, quick job this morning. Want to get these calipers off, get them serviced, change the seals, the AP Pro5000 plus caliper. 6 seals in each caliper, 2 calipers. Also got the rears to do. I'm not sure if I'll have time to do that today, but we'll see how we get on. First job is to get the seals out and get them soaking in brake fluid for at least 30 minutes. So put these in some brake fluid, remove the calipers and start stripping down. So that's both packs of the seals in the one container there. It's just an old milk carton that I've cut off. As you can see, there's instructions etc that come with the seal kits, and then we just need to leave them soaking for half an hour in some brake fluid. This is probably costing a fortune, more expensive than a bottle of Chateauneuf du Pape. There we go. So leave those soaking for half an hour. In the meantime, we'll get the calipers off, which is a couple of bolts per side. Easy enough to do. So to remove the caliper, it's just these 2 bolts here. We've got the one at the top, one at the bottom, and then obviously the brake hose needs to be disconnected on the back. You can see it. I think that's a 1/2 inch size, which I haven't got, so we'll use the adjustable. Okay, so that's the caliper off. Key thing to remember right now is that it's still full of brake fluid. So if I turn that upside down, all the brake fluid will want to come out here. Saying that, I'm going to do that now, aren't I? So just talking through it, they're obviously the bleed screws at the top of the caliper. You've got the bolts holding it together that cross over. That's obviously where the brake line goes in to the caliper. At the bottom you've got the crossover pipe. We have had those damaged before now by rubber, bit of debris. Within the caliper you've got the pistons themselves, and we need to get those out to obviously check. Oh, there we go, brake fluid everywhere. We need to get those out to change the seals, which are in behind them. And the seals, got them soaking. So what we're going to use to get the pistons out, put a block of wood or a disc in between there and some compressed air down into where the brake fluid usually enters the caliper. Obviously that will be under pressure, so we've got to be careful, eye protection and all that sort of malarkey needs to be worn. So we'll get on with that. I've had the compressor going. I'll turn that off to stop it firing up when we start the job. Okay, so we've got the block of wood there between the pistons. That's to protect them should they come flying out. Protect me as well, I suppose. Safety spectacles on, the compressed air into there, and we'll slowly try and draw them out. Let's see what happens. Oh, see, nice and slow. Now, because that one's come out, the air is just going to blow straight in, and the others will not come out. That's backed that job up, hasn't it? Let's see if we can put that one back in, or even chock that one in. Suppose we were expecting that, with it being the closest one to the inlet. I suppose that was always going to happen. There we go, that one's back in. If we chock that one off, try again. Maybe a bit less pressure. Okay, so we've got number 2 now. So I guess we'll have to chock that one as well. Can you see all the fluid coming out, going everywhere? Wipe that up. It doesn't go on my brew. Okay, so another chock. Gonna run out of wood. Fit.
Careful there, because the spring is on an angle there. Just draw the spring out. Okay. Clean that up while we're here, get fluid off. I'm sure there's probably a skill, a knack, or a tool to do this quicker, but that's how I'm doing it. Trying to get the spring back on there to refit the Nope. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, let's put that back in. And now if we turn that way, hopefully that will hold those two in and it will release this one. And if we turn it round somehow, or even maybe clamp it, and then hopefully it'll release those three furthest away. Let's try this now then. Okay, that should do it. Yep, so that's those three effectively released now. So squeeze those two back in. Making this up as I go along, as you can tell. I say making it up, I've obviously read up how it should be done. This is the way the pros do it, and then there's the way idiots like me do it. Okay, so those three back in. Brake fluid everywhere. What I need to do is a clamping force maybe on them. Clamps. Maybe even a zip tie. Hold them in. A zip tie do that, do you think? Let's try it. Only one way to find out. Hopefully that will hold that in, and then we'll start to release the ones on the far side with a wipe. Okay, let's give it a go. Gentle on the pressure. Try and do it. It's not sealing. Now that looks a lot better to me. Let's have a look. So these three, 1, 2, 3, were on the far side from the inlet, so they were coming out later. Put this cable tie on, try and hold that block in place so that these three would come out, and then hopefully they'll all come out by hand now. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've just removed the two blocks from the centre of the caliper there. As you can see how far out they've come. Hopefully they will just come out by hand now, hopefully. There we go. Two, three. So that's the outer side. You can see it's fluid everywhere. I'll show you inside the pots in a minute. Come on. Want to come up? Oh dear. Can't grip them because they're that slippy with the fluid. Push it back in, you dope. Right. So just to show you, that's the pools of fluid that are left in the pots once the pistons are removed. There's quite a bit that needs cleaning up, so just be careful with the compressed air that just doesn't go everywhere when you're using it. After a lot of slip sliding around with my fingers and the gloves, that's all the pistons out. They just needed wiggling a little bit of time, a bit of a pain in the backside, but there you go. Like I said before, I'm sure there's a better way. So that's all the pistons out, the springs, give them a quick inspection, make sure they're not scored in any way. And then the next job is to get the old seals out, which hard to see just there, just underneath the side, but as you can see the caliper needs a bit of a clean with some warm soapy water. So we'll get them cleaned up. Nothing scientific about that, I'm sure you can work out how to use warm soapy water to clean something. And then we'll start to look at getting the seals out, put the new ones in and reassembling. Okay, so that's the caliper in the soapy water, nice and warm. Leave it in there soaking, give it a good wipe down. But what's most important, once it's cleaned, is to get it dry. So I'll probably take it into the house, put it on the radiator, get it somewhere dry before we start reassembling. Okay, so that's the caliper all cleaned up, down to its component parts. Obviously we've got the caliper there, springs, all the pistons, wear plates, and then the bridge. And just take it out, make it easy to clean. So that just needs to go and sit on the radiator, or get warm anyway, and dry off. So we'll go and do that. Okay, so the calipers, or the body of the caliper, is pretty dry now. I'm in the house, and we need to get out the seals, which are just under the lip. And you can see it. In fact, it's better if I come around maybe. The black bit, basically, black rubber seal on each of the 4 pistons, or the 4 pots. So I'm just going to use a pick for this. I'm not sure if filming it will turn out very well or not. We'll do my best. So basically, gentle as possible. Get the pick underneath the rubber seal. Careful not to damage the alloy of the body, and just ease it out, he says. What happened there? I think I pressed the Siri button on my phone, which is what I'm using to film this. So just ease it out. Careful not to damage the body. There we go. So take that out. And that's 1 of 6 for this caliper, and the other caliper still to do. So I'll do that for each one, and then I'll give that a good dry as well, and put it back on the radiator to make sure it's fully dry. That's all 6 of the seals out now, top and bottom. I'll give the rim a good, well, I'm not going to say that, dry out the housings for the seals, and put them back on. Then I'll go and crack on, get the other caliper off. All the same process again. Not going to film it all for both calipers, just the one caliper will do. We'll come back when we're putting the seals back in. Okay, so that's that caliper, that's the driver's side caliper. Stripped down, cleaned, dried. I've removed the passenger side caliper, that's been cleaned and is currently drying. Got that on the radiator as well. So now it's time to put the seals into the pots there and assemble the caliper. So first things first, let's get the seal out. Just as I've cleaned all the brake fluid up, time to make more mess. So it's quite simply a case of dropping it in and manipulating it into the recess for it. Simply, he says. Go on. Careful not to cause them to twist. Okay. That's the first one in. Number 2. When you first put them on, they look like they're never going to fit, but they do. And a little bit of fingering, he says. There we go, number 2. There's the small ones. There's a small one. You've got to be careful they don't twist either. They can look like they're seated, but in actual fact they've got a slight twist or a kink in them. That's number 3. On the other side. I don't know if you can see this going in. I haven't got a better camera, unfortunately. I'm just using my iPhone. My arm's probably in the way. One in. One in. All these parts are genuine AP Racing, and I get mine from Questmead, Rochdale. They're very helpful. They'll advise you on all kinds to do with your brakes, probably even more, including master cylinder sizes and what pads to use. So thanks to Steve and the team up there, that's number 3 in. Okay, I'll just give my hand a wipe. We'll have a look at them. All seated in. Ready for the pistons to drop back in. Put the pistons in is really easy. Just simply drop them in and feed them past the seal. Try and get the spring centered within the pot. make sure they go down square. Okay. And now to the other side. What we'll do is put the block on them and then squeeze them in a bit more. Or alternatively, you could use the pad spreading tool just to make sure it's nice and uniform. There we go. So they're in and sort of beyond the seal, if you like. They just need a bit more pressure now to push them home. I'm going to use the pad spreader to put the pistons back into where they should be, drive them back. It's a really good tool if you're doing endurance events and you need to change your pads or your discs during the event. So we'll crack on with that. So that's that then. The seal's changed. All the pistons back in place. As you can see, got some new pads in there, new crush washer for here, and we can get it fitted. In the meantime, I've got to go and do the other one. So there we have it, all reassembled to AP Pro5000 calipers with new seals. The bleed screws all being slackened off, checked, no need to change them, they're all okay. That's it then, get them refitted, bleed the brakes. In fact, no, can't bleed the brakes, need to service those ones as well. So we'll crack on with that in another video, maybe. So there we go, all fitted, serviced calipers, new seals, everything's cleaned. The bleed nipples are all okay, they've been cleaned out, the threads, etc. All good, just need to bleed them and then good for next season's racing.